So Star Trek Picard Season 2 wrapped up this past Thursday, and you know what? I got some things to say about it. Going back to Season 1 of Picard, I didn't even do a finale review, or a season review I should say, because I just disliked it that much, to be completely honest. I thought there was a couple fun moments in Season 1, but overall I just did not care for the direction and the characters in Star Trek Picard Season 1. Now going into Season 2, I wasn't too much more hopeful, but again, I am a Star Trek fan, and I guess I'm just an eternal optimist because I was like, you know what, Season 2 might be better. It just might be. So I'm gonna give it another shot, watch all of Season 2, and well, here are my thoughts. So spoilers are ahead if you have yet to see this show. You have been warned. So to start the season, it felt pretty good. Felt like Star Trek. It's nice to see Picard back, rear and ready to go. He's an android now, apparently. I guess, it was touched on, but not really touched on. It's weird. No one really knows what's going on there. Who really cares? So the first episode was fun. We got to catch up with the new gang and Picard. Stuff goes on. Picard gets summoned to a ship because there's a anomaly or whatever going on with like the Borg out in space. So stuff goes on, yada yada yada. Then we end up in an alternate timeline, and that's when Q pops up. Very cool to see John Delancey, by the way. I thought his performance in that first episode he popped up was brilliant. Now later in the season, it was just fun to have Q, but I thought they kind of lost what they wanted to do with them story-wise. It wasn't Delancey's fault, it was the writer's fault, but we'll touch on that in a little bit. So we end up in an alternate reality. Pretty interesting. Obviously, they went the route of, dictatorships and, fascism and so forth. Not a very good world. Picard and the gang realize that, hey, we need to go back in the past. They go back in the past to 2024, so pretty much our time, to help reset the stuff, to make sure, the normal Star Trek timeline happens. And that's where we spend all season. Literally 9 episodes of the 10, because the finale is pretty much in the past. It's like half and half. So 8.5 episodes, 9 episodes, let's say, are in 2024. And Star Trek has done this for the last almost 55 years, right? They would always have an episode or two-part episode somewhere along in the series' run that they end up in the past. And you know what? That's a fun take on Trek and stuff like that. But usually it's just a 1 or 2-parter. But to spend 8 to 9 episodes in the past, it got a little old after a while. I understand the direction where they were going, but to spend that much time of a Star Trek show in pretty much our time, man, it is kind of frustrating. Most people, like myself, probably watch Star Trek to get away from our world. And I know Star Trek tackles our world's issues in their own Star Trek way, and that's cool, and I get that, and I do like how they do that. But just to spend a full season in our time, like I could just watch a whatever show if I want to see 2024. It's pretty much 2022, right? It's the same thing. And I get, their Star Trek tech and, relationships are sprouted out of being in 2024 and everything. But regardless, to spend a full season in the past, I didn't love. I did not love that whatsoever. Now, were there some decent moments born out of being in 2024? I think so. I think there was. I feel like this season did a lot better job of fleshing out the characters, the new characters like Raffi, Rios, Agnes, and Seven to an extent. Like, I want to say new 7 of 9 because she's definitely not like how she was on Voyager. But we did get a Voyager reference, though. We did in the finale or episode 9, we got a Voyager reference from 7 of 9. I was so happy. I was like, woo! About time she actually referenced part of her life. Wow. Who does that? That was nice to see. And she even referenced Janeway, going to bat for her to join Starfleet. That was maybe the highlight of the show for me, honestly. But getting back to the characters, I thought the characters were a lot more fleshed out. I didn't find them all so insufferable like I did in season 1, because Raffi annoyed the living daylights out of me. Agnes did too. Soji, she's just not even in season 1. She's in a quarter of an episode. And then the actress plays a new character who's whatever, who cares. Rios, he didn't annoy me too much last season, but he's definitely fleshed out a lot better this season, and he finds a whole love interest in 2024, but we'll touch on that here in a little bit. But all the characters felt a lot better, a lot more fleshed out to an extent. So they're stuck in the past this whole time. They have to figure out how to fix the timeline, right? That's always a Star Trek thing. So they figure out that they have to save a person, and her name is Renee Picard, so she's obviously related to Picard, hundreds of years older than Picard. She's a part of the Europa mission, I believe that's what it was. And so that's the thing that sparks the Star Trek timeline, right? So they have to make sure that she gets on the Europa mission, and that happens. So they spend all season making sure that happens, and it happens. All is well. The lady who plays Loris, I forget her watcher name, but she's also in it as a new character. She was fine. But a lot of the season 2, while they're also in 2024, all the characters are off finding stuff and doing things. And another big storyline of this season is Picard dealing with his traumas as a child. And I get where they're going with it for an episode. Cool, tackle it. I'm fine with it. But to drag it out for, I believe, over 7 different episodes or so, or it was, I think it's the whole season, they had references to it. Man, I just stopped caring. To be completely honest, I just didn't care. I think it was episode 9 when they really tackled it, like how his mother ended up dying and everything. They drug it out for so long for something that is not important. It drove me nuts. Like, I understand that, yeah, that's obviously a horrible thing, and losing your mother at a young age and how that can really affect you, and you can, really hinder your relationships and such. But Picard's 100 years old. He's 100 years old, and he's an android now, technically. You think they could have tackled this maybe in TNG when he was a lot younger man, and how that could still affect him. But at 100 years old, I mean, I get that it would still affect you in some sense, but not really the time to tackle that storyline, in my opinion. And to drag it out like they did, oh my goodness. That was just not good. Again, that was just a lot of bad writing, to be completely honest. It's just a lot of filler to get from A to B. And it's like being in 2024, it was just all filler. And I have to say, if it wasn't for already the trailer dropping that we knew we're getting a TNG reunion in season 3 to end the Picard series, I would have really not been happy with this season and season finale. So we spent all that time with Picard, coming over his trauma and everything. And then by the end of the season, we learned that it was kind of Q giving Picard his last lesson, right? To not be alone when you die, and, to open up and try to find love and such. And the sentiment was cool and it was loving, and I understand it, but for Q to just all of a sudden do a 180 like that, and I know he's always kind of done that, but in the context of the season, he shows up with his hair on fire, just ticked off at Picard. He even slaps him, right? And then just a few episodes later, it's like, oh, you've always been my favorite, you've always been my friend, and so forth. Like, I don't know, there was never really a pivot moment in the middle of the season to make Q go like, oh yeah, I need to remember why I'm doing this, and I do love Picard to an extent. Gods always have their favorites, right? I did like that line. And I guess you can say when he talks to Guinan, that was kind of that turning moment, but even then it didn't feel like it. And by that point, Q acknowledged that he was dying, which, okay, I think it works better if Q remained omnipotent and didn't die, and he just disappeared for the rest of Picard's life, and Q's technically lives on. I guess they did wrap up the Q character, so, that's better than some. I'm just tired of seeing my characters die, to be completely honest. This has been a trend going on for so long at this point. All the things that I enjoy from Star Wars, Star Trek, insert other shows. I'm just so tired of seeing beloved characters die for no real reason. Like, if you're gonna kill a character, make sure it actually means something. And I know Q dying was sending Picard back to the future with the rest of the group, and that was a cool thing and so forth. But at the same time, he didn't need to die. Technically, like, he really didn't. In the context of the story, it really made no difference, right? But whatever. Again, it's not here nor there. So Q is no longer, as far as we know, right? As far as we know. Who knows? He might show up at the end again. It could just be another test. See, already that's better writing. Again, there was some good moments of season 2, some bad moments, and I feel like a lot of the ratings on IMDb are where they kind of need to be. There's a lot of 6s, a few 5s, some low 7s, and that's kind of where this season is, in my opinion. It's fine, but it's still not great. It's an improvement over season 1, which was really bad, and season 2 was a little bit better, but overall, it's set up, I guess, some things that could be interesting if the writing is good for season 3. They haven't given me really any hope to believe in them, right? So by the end of the season, Girardi is now the Borg Queen. She is now merged with the Borg Queen, and now the Borg are our allies, apparently. And in that same breath, they have a new foe that's coming through a wormhole, practically. It's kind of like think of the Dominion in DS9, right? And I'm cool with making the Borg an ally. I guess that was kind of the natural progression. It would eventually happen in some way or some capacity, right? But you have to make sure the next foe you create, if it's not like the Dominion or something, is worthy of replacing the Borg as the ultimate foe. So whoever that is, it better be good. And I'm really hoping, in the context of Star Trek, that when Picard meets up with the TNG crew again, it is worthy of the reunion and the foe. That's what I'm hoping. The last little bit of hope I have for Picard it is all relying on season 3. And I probably feel like a lot of people feel that same way. Even though throughout season 1 and season 2, there may be some fun moments or cool moments that we see Riker or we see Data or just some overall fun moments with Picard, and even some of these new characters have, again, some okay moments throughout the show's run. Season 3, where it all hinges on, right? Like, it will either make or break the series as a giant flop or just a flop for the first couple seasons. But season 3, though, is just a chef's kiss on the TNG crew and Picard himself, right? Also, before I forget, Wesley Crusher makes an appearance in the season 2 finale. That was fun to see, but I thought it was weird that Crusher shows up to take that Corey girl. She's, I think, part of the eugenics war that could happen, you know, because we see that little teaser at the end of like the con folder with Data, not Data, whatever his name is, Brent Spiner's character. And it'll be interesting if that gets played out more, or is Crusher just picking her up just to disappear for another 30 years? I don't know. We'll see. But either way, it was a fun little cameo to see Wesley Crusher show back up in Star Trek in some capacity. But nonetheless, it all hinges upon season 3. I am slightly hopeful because we're getting all of the crew back, and I just hope that when they do come back, the foe they have to face is formidable enough for them to actually all come back in some way or another. And if they all go out in a blaze of glory, so be it. Make it worth it, right? Don't just kill characters to kill characters. Make it truly worth it. If you're gonna kill Picard, like truly kill Picard or Riker or Worf, you better make it worthwhile. That's all I'm saying, because if they just kill them in some needless way, that's gonna make so many people upset. Like, Star Trek may burn to the ground if that happens, and I'm not even joking. Like, there is a ton of people that would be upset about that, because these people have liked these characters for 35 years, and all of a sudden, if you do something bad with the character and you kill them off in some horrible way, man, you're gonna have an upset fan base. So I really hope they tackle that correctly. Just send them out the right way, because this is the last go around of the TNG cast. It's gonna be, it's sad to say it, but you know, they're all in their late 60s to early 80s, right? This is it. This is the last time we're ever going to see them all together, and I'm really hoping they do it well. And we'll just have to wait and see till we see the season 3 trailer, which I would assume is going to come out during Comic-Con sometime in July, because I would assume they want to get the bad taste of this finale of season 2 that really didn't do anything out of the people's mouths. That's why they released that season 3 trailer early. That was smart. I will give CBS that. That was smart on their behalf on that, because they didn't do that, there'd be so many people upset with season 2 as a whole, let alone the finale, because the finale was pretty lackluster overall. And if we didn't know we're already getting the TNG reunion for season 3, man, it would have been scorched earth of the Star Trek land, right? Like, people would have been so upset. Furthermore, for season 2, I feel like the characters were a lot more fleshed out, which that was nice to see. A lot of the characters had better standout moments. Not great, but better standout moments. It was interesting that Girardi's now half Borg Queen, or fully, however you want to look at it. Rio stayed in the past with his new love interest, and he is now dead. And then now we have Seven of Nine and Raffi officially back together, which at least that finally is fleshed out a little bit more. And Elnor is also back alive. I didn't really touch on him, but he dies early on in season 2, then he comes back alive. Whatever, who cares? But yeah, we'll see where season 3 takes us. Hopefully the foe is formidable. Hopefully the reunion is good. And that's all I have to say about Picard. Season 2, I'd give it a 6 out of 10, in some instances a 5.5 out of 10, and I'd give season 1 probably a 4 out of 10. So with that said, let me know your thoughts down below on season 2 of Picard. Did you hate it? Did you love it? You kind of feel like me, where there was a few good moments, but overall it was kind of just stuck and you're just ready to see season 3. So let me know your thoughts down below, and while you're down there, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be greatly appreciated. Until next time, guys, everyone have a great day. Thanks for watching.